Right, look, this is what the situation is. We and Jake, me being Mike Williams, we recorded a video on Destiny 2 this morning, actually, about the end game and all kinds of interesting things.
It was
about
actually
Destiny
pretty critical of Destiny 2's end game, believe it or not, guys.
Yeah.
And then they fucking gone and ruined it by addressing literally every issue.
Yeah, those assholes. They promised to fix the things we were complaining about. So that's what this video is now. We're going to have a look at the end game fixes that Bungie has promised in their blog post. So, I mean, I guess first of all, we should run down what the complaints are about Destiny 2's end game generally.
That's right.
The game's just come out on PC, and a lot of new players will be discovering the end game over the next week or so. And there's a few things players understand, which is still true at this point. They've just promised to fix them. They haven't fixed them yet. So the issue with the end game for many is that it just kind of runs out of steam after a short while.
You hit a brick wall where the only real way of progression is completing weekly milestones, which the main criticism is that you can complete all of your milestones. If you're a team of 3 people, you can complete pretty much all the milestones within about 2 hours.
That's right.
And then that's it until the next Tuesday, which is when the servers reset and they create more. So great for casual players, but for people who are, maybe 16, 17, finishing school, they've got all night with their mates.
Anyone with time, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Then it's not going to be, full of content. You're best off sticking to Overwatch. That's kind of where the video that me and Mike recorded ended on.
Yeah.
However, that's all obsolete now. Thank you very much, Bungie. And now we're going to be talking about some of the changes, which, believe it or not, is good news. But I just wanted to...
It's exciting news as a Destiny player, but as a person who's recorded a video on this very morning, it's flipping annoying. So yeah, there's a lot of talk about the Destiny 2 end game in the community about it not lasting long, and Bungie's one of Bungie's lines was, "It's not the real reward, the real treasure."
That's what it was.
Is the friends that you make along the way, not the actual treasure. Friend game. Not end game.
Yeah, that's it.
So we had, and that was just all that last minute of waffle was just a flavour of what you've missed out on thanks to this update that Bungie's released.
Now we feel a lot better about it now.
Yeah,
which is good.
I mean, it does sound good. It sounds like they've addressed a lot of stuff. So this is a blog post that they've issued on Bungie.net, which is a weekly thing they do. It's a regular occurrence. They just explain what's going on, what's happened recently, and what's
unless it's players getting banned, which
which
they don't really explain that.
Doesn't quite work the same way. So this time they've just kind of reeled off a list of things that people will want to hear. People who are in the end game or feel like they're done with the end game or feel like the end game doesn't sound like a worthy time for them. They've pretty much addressed a lot of things head on. So let's look through some of the headline announcements. These are things that are going to happen, bear in mind. They are not happened yet. These are just things that they want to do. And it's just good that they've kind of addressed this already. So they've said there's going to be new systems and rewards to give the most engaged players additional optional pursuits. So in other words, things to do if you're already super into the grind, you've been playing the game loads. There's actually going to be worthwhile things for you to do, which is basically exactly what people want, isn't it, to start off with? Yeah,
exactly. Like I say, we play together and we end up doing all of our weekly milestones in a day.
So it's like 2 hours.
Yeah, well, that's it. So it's one evening.
Yeah.
And then what do we do for the rest? We play other games, right? I mean, this could be a good motivation to come back and play it maybe 3 or 4 nights a week rather than just the one. So that seems good. It seems to be aiming at not just a casual audience, but also for people, who just play it every night because they like the game. They're not just interested in the loot; they just want to play the game.
So here's another thing that they've said is kind of a refinement on that point that we've just read out. Better incentives for players who complete challenging prestige activities. Now, prestige activities are harder variations of already hard things. So there's a prestige raid, which is harder than the raid, and there's the prestige Nightfall. The Nightfall is the weekly co-op PvE thing that they put out. You do it once, you get some powerful gear. You can do it as many times as you want, but you won't get any more powerful gear.
Yeah, there's not actually that much of an incentive to go from your normal Nightfall to the prestige Nightfall
at all,
at the moment. Really. So this is great because it gives people the opportunity to gain further rewards, those who dare win and all that.
And that's the thing, we're saying rewards a lot here, but that's what that's the carrot at the end of the stick, isn't it? That's what is keeping people playing. You've played through the story, you've completed it. The game becomes a kind of light MMO at that point, where you play some multiplayer co-op and player versus player stuff with your friends. And what you need is incentive to do that. And what they use is loot. So and progression, leveling up your character by picking up stronger loot.
Yeah, your power level is dictated by your equipment.
Yeah.
So basically, when you hit level 20, you then have to advance through the ranks using your power level. Power levels done by equipment, and the rewards that we're talking about here are random bits of equipment. So you might get a helmet, you might get a shotgun, you might get a a sniper rifle, whatever. And that, like I'm saying, there's not really any extra reason to go for these prestige modes over the regular ones, and that's a great thing, really.
That's exactly it. The prestige is just another challenge that you can at the moment do, but as you know, a group of players, me, Jake and Liam play it together, the main reason we check in every week is to push our power level higher, so we're all hovering around a certain score. So for example 290, we want to get up to 300, say, then we'll just play the game to get to 300. But once you've done the Nightfall, or once you've done your weekly milestones, there's basically no way of getting up to 300 without just grinding the game, hoping for an exotic engram to drop, which is very rare, and you can manufacture ways to make it happen more quickly, theoretically, but it's just...
And on top of that, sometimes you'll get an exotic and it's the same exotic that you've already got. So I think that's another fix as well.
That's exactly, So that's one of the other big headline changes. Ongoing improvements to exotics, including adjustments to reduce instances of duplication. Now, I had 3 sets of the same chest armor as a Titan, and that was, I mean, it was cool chest armor, but I only need 1. So thanks for that 1. I don't want any more. Thank you.
I've had a tractor beam with like sort of, I think it's called tractor cannon. It's like a shotgun.
I've
had 3 of them.
I know what that is. Cool.
The last 3 exotics I got has been the same thing. So it's not even like 3 overall. The last 3 in a row. That's surely got to be a mistake. So I'm glad that they're looking at clearing that. It must be a way of the game service to figure out what you've already got in the inventory, and then say, okay, he's already got that, he doesn't need another one.
So as the name suggests, these exotics are like the top tier, god tier level weapons, the best ones. You can only equip 1 at a time. You can only have 1 weapon and 1 piece of armor that's exotic at a time, and that is the only manner. After you've done your weekly milestones, picking up 1 of these is the only way of boosting up your power level, and even then you might not even want to keep the exotic. You can actually infuse it or use that power, the power level assigned to that exotic, you can infuse into one of your other kind of legendary weapons, which allow as many of them as you want.
At the expense of your exotic being destroyed.
So the exotic is vaporized in the process, but it means you have a more powerful legendary weapon, standard weapon at the end of the day. So what I'm saying is, the exotics, no matter which way you want to use them, that is your only way of progressing then after you've done all of your weekly milestones. So they are important, and it's good that they're looking at that. So these are like so far like headline changes that people want, isn't it? It's like the good steps, and it's at least addressing the criticisms, if by only name checking them, saying, don't worry guys, we're going to work on it. Specifics, isn't it?
Well, they seem to have hit all of the big points. Like a point that I don't really feel this personally. I'm not sure. I've not heard you and Liam say it either. But one criticism a lot of people had was that the Crucible matches kind of just go on a little bit too long. So they've addressed that. So they've literally gone for the most common complaints, and they're looking to fix that, which is all well and good. Or it's the best lip service ever, because they're literally...
It's very... Exactly. I guess that's kind of what I'm saying. It's very specific lip service to the problems, which is a good enough thing for me at the moment. For them to be spelling things out so specifically, saying, this very specific thing that you're complaining about, well, we're looking at it. Don't worry, you guys. It's not like they're just saying, we're going to fix the game. We're going to fix the end game. They're giving us specifics, which is good. Another complaint for me personally, I think this is true for you as well, Jake, is the strikes and the other kind of PvE stuff, like adventures on the planet, so you can just they're kind of like the open world adventures you can just go into, and the lost sectors, they kind of, I mean, they're cool, but they just are completely pointless once you hit the end game. So they said there's going to be better rewards and replay value for strikes, adventures, and lost sectors, which is cool. Very good to hear that, because I want to do more strikes. I love strikes in Destiny. They're my favorite things. My favorite thing about the whole game is just the PvE kind of 10-20 minute mission, doing that with your friends. That's cool. I love that. So it's good that they're kind of working on that.
Especially because there's not many of them. So replayability.
Exactly. It's like 5 or something.
We end up always playing PvP because at least that's different every time, depending on who you're against. But a lot of this, especially if you're playing with the same fire team, you can end up pretty close to the same every time, right? So that would be a nice, interesting variation. Maybe they're going to be doing like what they do with the strikes and adding variants to it and stuff like that. If you're a Destiny 2 player, you'll know what I mean by that. But that's great, because obviously the content isn't going to be advanced on until they add DLC. There's no mention of that in these notes, I noticed. So what they're doing is refreshing the existing content instead, right? Yeah,
that's right. I think a big one as well is a whole bunch of these points that they've listed are directly related to PvP and Crucible. So he said there, you know, if a lot of the time you'll spend in the game is actually playing the Crucible PvP stuff. Well, they've changed a lot. So it's not just that they're tuning the actual matches so that they are shorter or tighter or better experiences or whatever. There's actually going to be better incentives for completing Crucible matches, so staying through to the end. Penalties for quitting as well, which is interesting.
Yes.
Continued improvements to Iron Banner and faction rallies, including uniqueness of rewards. So that's definitely a must. Iron Banner and faction rallies are events that take place in the game.
The best way of describing this in layman's terms is if you're like level 1 and then you were playing against a level 20 in a regular PvP mode, that wouldn't matter. But in the Iron Banner, if you're a level 1 and you're up against a level 20, you'll get fucking crushed.
You get caned,
and
in theory.
The Iron Banner, yeah, in theory, and the Iron Banner for Destiny 2 seems to still have a bit of an issue where it's like compressing. It's bringing the lower players up a bit and it's bringing the higher players down a bit. So maybe it's going to be a bit more of a pure experience.
Having played a lot of Iron Banner in the first game, it feels like it's not even there. I mean, maybe I should have researched this before doing a video on it, but it doesn't feel like they've allowed those damage changes at all. And the only thing that's different is that the announcer in the game is different, the maps are a bit different, the actual game mode is a bit different.
You get specific armor,
and you get very specific. It's awesome looking armor. The rewards are this armor set, but you know, I mean, I just broke it down as soon as I got it anyway to get the tasty shards that were inside. So I mean, the fact they're addressing that and giving more unique rewards is great. They're also making some changes to the mod economy, which is quite important near the end because
this is it. This is something I think very important. You know, like
you've got to strap mods to your weapons and armor to boost the power very slightly near the end, haven't you?
Ends up being a bit like a Rubik's Cube, you said.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's a great way.
Just
you know, you've got to, figuring things out. You know, mods obviously can add damage boosts to weapons and stuff. So when you have like a weekly grind like this, and then you think, oh, I've got like a weapon that's 299, maybe with a bit of tweaking to your mods, you can get it to 300, and then that could mean the difference between being power level 299 and 300. So that's good. There could be room for a lot of deep customization of the mods, but it seems a little bit underplayed. So the fact that they'll be adding to that, it seems exciting.
I think the way that it's set up is quite good. I do like the way that you know there's Glimmer, which is like the bog standard currency in the game, which you basically get for everything, every kill, every activity you do, you get a bit of Glimmer, right? And that's the currency. In Destiny 1, that felt absolutely useless. But what the mod economy does in this one is it makes that Glimmer valuable again, because you need to spend the Glimmer to apply the mods and also to buy like a stack of shit standard mods off the gunsmith fella. Buy enough of those and you'll be able to trade that in for a legendary, right? So that's and the legendary is what you want. The legendary mod is what will raise your damage level. So it's cool that setup is there, and I'm interested to see what they do with it beyond that, because like you said, it'd be good to actually have mods that didn't just give you a bit of a boost, but give you like characteristic
a little bit deeper. You could, exactly, things like that. When you're talking about the Glimmer, then the Glimmer being the currency, I find that really fucking obsolete towards the end, and I've got stacks of it. Mine's 99999.
Yeah, you can really easily reach that, but compared to Destiny 1, it does stuff now. You have to spend it if you want to.
Well, that's the thing I was thinking. It still doesn't do enough. But I noticed that's another thing that they're addressing. They're going to be finding more things for you to spend the Glimmer on, and the legendary shards, which is what you get for dismantling legendary weapons. Again, so this is the point of these, right?
So this is the point where they've said new ways to spend surplus currency and materials. So this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like the Glimmer and obviously legendary shards, which are something that a lot of people have a surplus of. Everything seems to be just adding a little bit of depth, a little bit of incentive, I guess is the best word. It's incentivizing not only the casual players, because you know you've got to look after the people that are already there. You've got to look after the people that are on the game every day, not just the people that are on there once a week and things like that. So it looks like it could be a great thing for Bungie to do if they manage to pull it off, and hopefully they do, because if they don't, we're going to have to record the same video we recorded earlier again, and that's going to waste time.
Well, there's one other bullet point that's quite important that that we should mention. They're changing the Emos, so in theory you could have the salty, spicy ramen, 6-shooter and flip out emotes equipped all at the same time. I can
stockpile all my stupid fucking dancers and the confused emote, and I'm happy about that. This is the most non-specific.
This is revolutionary.
Yeah, if you're not a Destiny fan, this isn't anything. And maybe if you are, maybe you're just a bit miserable and you don't ever have a little dance. But
everyone dances in Destiny.
This is important. This is part of it's the deep-rooted tradition.
Yeah.
So that is exciting news, guys.
It's like Samoa or something. It's a war dance, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You can have a little dance. You can do a bureaucratic walk for a wall. Well, you can't do that anymore. But yeah, so that was good. Finally, because in fact, you were even saying, wouldn't it be good if we could do that?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it is a genuine thing. It gives you specific emotes that you have to have, and you can change one of them to like any other emote that you want, which is bullshit. Just let's choose all 4, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what they're doing.
I want to wave to people.
All right, so those are the huge potential endgame changes coming to Destiny 2, according to Bungie and Bungie's latest blog post. Oh, you know, of course we've had to re-record this video, but in fact we are very happy that this is happening. These are the kind of changes we want to see. The sooner we see them, the better. So that's it. We've been talking far too long about this, but it's pretty big news if you're into Destiny's endgame. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mike Williams, joined by Jake Kulkowski. See you next time.